So I only watched the very first few seconds of this video, and I immediately decided we need to watch it and record the reaction live because I am very very concerned about the content of this video. Oh man, Paul Joseph Watson, for those who don't know, is probably the most obnoxious piece of shit on the planet. His voice is fucking terrible. His face is fucking annoying. His presentation is shitty and stupid. He's like he was like the first person to jump ship from InfoWars. I don't know what else to say. He's just insufferable as fuck. But I keep forgetting that he even exists. But his channel is doing fantastic as far as his numbers. So he must be doing something right. Or very, very wrong, depending on how you want to look at it. This is called The Decay of America.
A dire warning from Russia about the role demographics could play in the decay of America.
Big red flags on that very first sentence. Holy shit.
Vladimir Zhirinovsky, leader of the LDPR party, sensationally claims that inter-ethnic conflict in the United States will lead to white Americans fleeing to Canada, Australia, and even Siberia.
So, okay. I don't really what was the that party? What is the dude's name? Zhirinovsky. That's a very hard one to spell. Vladimir Zhirinovsky, member of State Duma. Interesting. Okay. He's an interesting fellow here. I am fascinated, very, very fascinated by how things work in Russia. We got the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia. He's been described as fiercely nationalistic. Ooh. A showman of Russian politics blending populist and nationalist rhetoric. Oof. Anti-Western invective in a brash confrontational style. Why exactly we would necessarily want to listen to Russians on what really... Let's cut through the shit here. Race relations in the United States? I don't know. But apparently Watson seems to think he's got some value, so let's listen.
Zhirinovsky says the US is on the same crumbling path towards collapse that the former USSR stumbled upon decades ago. He predicts non-white violent separatist movements will tear America apart. Similar to how the...
Oh no! Separatist movements of the darkies are going to tear the country apart. Is that what caused the fall of the USSR? I don't think so. And also, gross and big oof. What the fuck? Hey, Sophane. We're recording a video about Paul Joseph Watson. Everybody go subscribe to Poisoning the Well and Sophane and Fat Pat with a PH.
Soviet Union disintegrated as a result of ethnically diverse republics breaking away from the late 80s onwards.
We in the Soviet Union for 70 years fed the national fringes of the country at the expense of the Russians.
That is quite a take. That is quite a take. It was because we were feeding. Oh man, that's interesting. Knowing what I know about the actual racial demographics of Russia, that is quite a fascinating take. But we'll get there.
And in 1991, when they made a fuss and started shouting that they were leaving the USSR, the Russians didn't come out to defend the country, simply because they didn't understand that it was their land.
Okay. That's very strange. Look, as a general rule, as somebody who lives in the West, whenever I hear something said by a Russian politician, I just tend to not believe them. And as that's opposed to when an American politician says, I mean, this guy, I kind of feel the same way about that too. But I believe them even less, especially when they're talking about, like, us. Yeah, I don't know.
75-year-old firebrand now sees an almost identical situation unraveling in the US.
There are no national fringes there, but there are African Americans, Mexicans, non-whites in general, who are already dictating their will, and whites are increasingly forbidden to talk about their rights, their culture, their history.
What? Oh, shit. Excuse me? There are no national fringes, but there are the African Americans and Mexicans, non-whites in general, who are dictating their will. They're Americans. Americans. Holy shit. Holy shit. And whites are increasingly forbidden to talk about their right. They're all the same rights. They're supposed to be. Their culture, their history. It's American culture, American history. Holy shit. Why is Paul Joseph Watson reading this to us? This is so weird.
History.
The nationalists went on to assert that in 10 years, white Americans will be rushing for the exit to safe colonies in more stable white countries such as Canada or Australia.
They might even ask us to settle a few million people somewhere in Siberia.
Yes, please, Russians, save us American white people from all of those minorities. Oh, fuck, dude. Holy shit.
Zhirinovsky thinks that the exodus will lead to a brain drain that will ultimately trigger the decay and disintegration of the United States.
The new majority will not be able to maintain the same high level of technological development, economy, life, democracy, and so on.
Wow. Okay, this is even worse. This is even worse than the Great Replacement, like conspiracy theory, like which is overtly and explicitly racist. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says, and they try and and use weasel words to get around it. No, it's not really gonna fuck you. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. This is just like straight up. This is so incredibly race realist. It's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. And why in the fucking world is Paul Joseph Watson like signal boosting what this weird Russian propagandist is saying? What the fuck?
I think that white people are committed to being villains. We gotta take these motherfuckers out.
Zhirinovsky's warning is somewhat...
Thank you for that random out of context clip. I appreciate that. That's great. But also, what did she just say? Hang on a second.
We gotta take...
Democracy, and so on.
I think that white people are committed to being villains. We gotta take these motherfuckers out.
Zhirinovsky's warning is somewhat...
Why would you add that in when you literally have this like white fucking Russian dude who's just like saying this really crazy, legitimately fascistic shit? What the fuck?
Similar to that of Soviet defector Yuri Bezmenov. In 1984, Bezmenov revealed plans by the KGB to subvert the United States. Not by using cloak and dagger spycraft or funding violent revolutionaries, but by using, quote, active measures, namely ideological subversion and psychological warfare.
Yeah, every country does that to each other. The Russians like funding the fucking separatist movements inside the Ukraine, like they're fucking doing it. Everybody's fucking doing that. They try and destabilize each other constantly. Yeah.
Understand what's going on around you. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. It's a slow process, which we call active measures. With a violent change of power, structure, and economy, period of normalization. Disaster is coming closer and closer. The danger is real.
The KGB no longer exists, but thanks to forces deeply embedded within the American establishment, the same process appears to be happening anyway.
Wait. Okay, I think I know where this might be going. This is gonna be fucking crazy.
The results of the 2020 census just came out, and for the first time in American history, the number of white people went down.
Whether it be
that is kind of a like I like if I hear a statistic like that, you know, like hey, the number of white people went down. like my reaction to that is okay. I mean, why? I guess, or do I care? Yeah, whatever.
Critical race theory in schools, racial self-flagellation.
Yeah, critical race theory is a big psyop to try and divide the country, of course.
On university campuses, or the cultural colonization and iconoclasm of the Black Lives Matter movement.
If y'all didn't know, this is the
Cultural. What the fuck? Oh my god. Hang on.
Whether it be critical race theory in schools, racial self-flagellation on university campuses.
Oh yeah, like if there's like white people apologizing for being white, which is cringe. It is cringe.
Or the cultural colonization and iconoclasm of the Black Lives Matter movement.
How is that cultural colonization? How does Black Lives Matter create cultural colonization? And what does that even fucking mean in this context? What the fuck?
If y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color.
White American.
Random out of context clip. Yeah, this is how, okay. Having been on the other side of this before, on this ideological debate, when you see things like that happening on college campuses, here's how you respond. Wow, that's lame. That doesn't seem very fair, and that doesn't seem very nice. That's bad. And then you move on. You don't automatically look at that one simple out of context clip with no explanation, no nothing, and be like, well, it must obviously be happening in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of college campuses at the same time right now. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. It's so fucking crazy.
Americans have been re-educated to hate their history, hate their country, and hate themselves.
Got down here real low and looked up to you and said, the history of my race against your race, and I'm sorry.
Now, Zhirinovsky's known for his confrontation.
If somebody wants to say that, if somebody wants to express that, fine. Most of the time in my interactions with people, they think that that's pretty cringe. That's just kind of how it is.
Style and his spicy hot takes. But outside of Putin's government, he's the most popular political figure in Russia. When he speaks, people pay attention. But are Americans paying attention?
Why the fuck should we pay attention to a Russian propagandist? Why the fuck should we listen to Paul Joseph fucking Twatson?
Donald Trump's 2020 campaign seemed so transfixed on eking out a few extra percentage points of the black vote that his largest erosion ended up being amongst white voters, particularly white men. The Republican establishment and Trump's biggest supporters outside of Tucker Carlson were and are petrified of even mentioning demographics. The media monsters anyone who questions whether the browning of America might be anything other than a fantastic thing.
Oh, shit! Wow! Wow. Wait. Did this motherfucker just say the browning of America? Holy shit. What the fuck? Wow, man. Yeah. No, legit. I want to hear it again. I want to hear this motherfucker say it. This motherfucker with 1.9 million fucking subscribers, almost 500,000 views on this shit.
Mentioning demographics. The media monsters anyone who questions whether the browning of America might be anything other than a fantastic thing.
Wow. I am very, very surprised that he was actually willing to just come right out and say that shit. That is fucking wild. That is so fucking wild. Wow. Yeah, total mask off, man. Total fucking mask off.
As a dangerous extremist. They've also entrenched this bizarre form of doublethink, where if you dare suggest the demographic decline of white people in America is part of a ploy to flood the country with a dependable migrant voting bloc. Or that, whisper it, diversity isn't a strength. You're a racist.
Wow.
Evil conspiracy theorist. But
Yes,
if you
yes, you are a racist, evil conspiracy. That is true. That is absolutely true. Look, the very statement, diversity is a strength, is something that you can look at in a couple of different ways. Number one, if you're talking about genetically, yes, that's true. Diversity is a strength. Diversity of genetic material is one of the hallmarks of a healthy and evolving and adapting ecosystem or organism. When it comes to a country, you have to basically look and see what these actual factors are inferring and what they're informing. We know that when we have people of different cultures move to the United States, first generation might have a little bit of trouble, but second generation immigrants tend to flourish and flourish very well, sometimes way more than the people that are there in the country to begin with. It has happened in multiple instances, and we understand this and we know this. And it's so crazy too, because like when you're talking about this too, this has to come from the place of like migrants or immigration. But this Zernovsky fucking dude also was talking, like, disparagingly talking about African Americans. I don't think that there has, outside of, like, obviously the blossoming foundation of America, no other racial group that has impacted more into American culture and given it the beautiful fucking flavor that it has. Than specifically African Americans. You could say, in a very weird argument, that the troubles and tribulations that they were put through kind of lent to the inspiration to create so much interesting and fascinating art, the development of our very music. Every single aspect of our fucking music comes from it. You could say that. It'd be a weird thing to say, but it also might be true. So this idea that diversity isn't a strength, or that it isn't really even a question. It's more of observing what we have now. All of the problems that we have in our country and just watering it down to there are too many darkies is really fucking racist and gross. And it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense and it's wrong.
Openly embrace diversity as a progressive means of replacing those obsolete, bigoted white boomers, that's a high-status opinion and you're a sophisticated politico.
So that when we get to 2042 or 2045, whatever year you want to use, that we actually will not be suffering from what other countries like South Africa have, which is having the numbers but not having the power. We want... people say demographics are not destiny. Well, we're trying to make it destiny. Yes. So that's the work that we're doing.
Amen.
The New York Times lauding the fact...
Okay. Again, that's an out-of-context clip, but saying that there is a lack of institutional power compared to the amount of people that there are is actually a very accurate thing. And you can see it in statistics. You can understand it if you take half a moment to fucking understand. But that's not how he's trying to report on it. He's basically just jacking off racist people. This is fucking weird, dude. This is wild.
Fact that changing demographics turned Virginia solid blue. Joe Scarborough, quote, demographics are a freight train for Democrats carrying them into the future. The GOP's actions will accelerate their collapse.
I like how he's citing himself, because this is an article that he wrote. You can see right there. Published 2 years ago on 10th of February, 2020, Paul Joseph Watson. Oh, boy. Joe Scarborough celebrates demographic freight train that will collapse GOP. He's literally citing himself. He's citing his own fucking article. Amazing, Paul. Amazing. Well fucking done.
The future belongs to Democrats. Apparently, it's only a form of decay if it hurts the GOP. That's the domestic picture. But what about on the international stage? How will the American...
I mean, do we need to pull up a map of Crenshaw's district? This is fun. Dan Crenshaw's district. Here we go. So, some of you guys might not have seen this before. This is fucking wild, dude. This is so fucking wild. Ah, it's really small. Shit. Fucked it up. Come on. There we go. Yeah, open image, a new tab. Bam. All right, this is Dan Crenshaw's district. This happens all over the fucking place in this country. All over the place. What's really fucking weird is the places that have been gerrymandered, which means to redraw your district lines that are explicitly along the line, like in bluer areas that are consistently voting red. Those lines you can almost see follow redlining lines, which show very specific class and economic differences in lines, but also racial disparity. That's fucking real. It's fucking real. Like, the thing that he's trying to describe is a thing that has been done for decades and decades and decades. And don't get me wrong, like, there have been Democrats that have done that shit too. Yeah. But as much? No.
Regime continue to exert its influence on the world. The American people no longer have the stomach for military adventurism and costly wars of occupation.
No, we don't. Why would we? That's a stupid fucking thing to do. I like military adventurism. Yay! War is fun, everybody.
The American military now seems more interested in fighting for transgender representation than it does fighting actual battles.
Why would you be happy for battles? War is bad. War bad. What the fuck? It's not like Paul Joseph Watson's gonna fucking put on a helmet and pick up a rifle and fight. Holy shit. I'm sorry. No. Ugh.
Today, transgender individuals may openly join the U.S. military.
Yeah, good luck with that. Legacy media publications now talk about...
Dude, okay. The other thing that I find really fascinating too is like this real weird disparaging. So like, yeah, trans can now join the military. Based, cool, great, let them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Why? Does this fucking... Okay, I want to call him a soy boy, but honestly, soy is fucking great for building muscle mass if you're doing weight training. So I don't want to call him that. This lily-wristed fucking pampered jackwipe, okay, is in no way equipped physically, mentally, or emotionally to disparage the battle readiness of anybody else. Having spent a long part of my life among many, many gay and trans people, I can tell you that there are plenty of them that could kick his fucking ass with one hand. How do you get to disparage? Does anybody think that he's gonna have even like a good war cry? You know? Does anybody think that he's really gonna be able to haul a fucking pack of 60 pounds up a hill so he can go fight in the trenches? You know? Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on.
Legacy media publications now talk about America exporting wokeness as a form of cultural imperialism. Carpet bombs
wokeness is a word that doesn't mean anything.
Replaced by mass societal subversion, demoralization, and colonization. Will Russia and China embrace diversity? Will we see mass BLM and gay pride parades marching through the streets of Beijing and Moscow?
I hope so. That'd be dope. It goes back to the word progressivism. What does the word progressivism mean? What is progressivism? It means to improve the human condition. That's what it means. That's all it means. That's all it means. And like, we already export our culture to the world when they let us. We have Hollywood. We have a lavish and rich musical heritage. The cultural impact that America has on the world is fucking massive. And if that can further lead to other countries, I don't know, not killing gay people and making sure that everybody has equal rights, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a lot better than colonizing by force, you know, but I have a feeling that Paul Joseph Watson, if he was born, just a little while earlier, he might have been the leader of a rubber plantation, if you know what I mean.
With that message, sponsored as it is in the West, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars by some of the world's corporate behemoths. Yeah, can't see it myself.
Sometimes children from the very young age, children are being told that they have a choice in becoming a girl or a boy. They're actually almost being imposed that's being imposed on them without consulting any children's psychologists or any professionals. Is a child really capable of making a decision like that? That almost seems like a crime against humanity, and all of it's done under the banners of progress. Well, if they like that, let them do that, and we'll see what happens.
What the fuck, dude? I am very fascinated by how much Paul Joseph Watson seems to want to gargle the balls of Russia. That's fucking weird. Like, that's such a weird thing to me because, you know, there was like this whole push of like Russian influence on our cultures and blah, blah, and even he has said it too. But like the most overt example that I could point to in recent memory of somebody parroting a bunch of talking points from Russia is this video. This one right here that we are fucking watching. Holy shit.
Oh, stupid Americans. Is Zhirinovsky's warning?
That's a clip from Alex Jones with his fursona, his Chinese fursona. Why?
See what happens.
Hello, stupid Americans. Is Zhirinovsky's warning of separatism, balkanization, and racial segregation in America are all plausible? Could white people in America end up facing the same challenges as whites in South Africa did after apartheid? Well,
go ahead and tell me.
White people in America are already being denied life-saving medical treatment because of the color of
Not true.
their skin.
Look at this chart. It shows the scoring system. You'll notice that race often counts more than physical health. The state of Utah, for example, gives 2 points to anyone simply for not being white. You win if you're not white. If you have congestive heart failure at the same time, you get 1 point.
Okay. What's really fascinating about this is a risk score. A risk score. Now, one of the main reasons why it was done this way is because there's a very, very broad analysis of how much you potentially have access to regular health care, how much money you might make, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They drew it along racial lines. Do I agree with that? No. No. Are there potential comorbidities that can occur along different racial groups? Sure, but I think it is kind of a tricky thing. However, I have yet to see one example case of harm that them doing this risk score thing has actually occurred. Do I agree with how they decided to do it? No. Is this killing white people for being white? No. Like, yeah. Tucker, Putin, Alex Jones. Yeah. What the fuck?
So if you're a white congestive heart failure patient, that's not enough for you. In New York, writes Aaron Sabarium in a shocking new piece for the Washington Free Beacon, quote, racial minorities are automatically eligible for scarce COVID-19 therapeutics, regardless of age or underlying condition.
Aaron Sabarium, Washington Free Beacon. If I'm not mistaken, the Washington Free Beacon is a goddamn propagandist rag. We just recently read an article from them not that long ago, and it was just fucking terrible. Yeah. No, dude, this is a fucking propagandist rag, and of course they're gonna take the worst takes. New media outlet Grid, backed by progressive stars, Gulf money and foreign agents. Biden grovels to lowly journalists as Putin threatens Ukraine. Like, come on, dude. Holy shit. Quote mining from a fucking propagandist rag. It's just garbage.
It doesn't matter what kind of health they're in. All that matters is their skin color.
Then why did it have a list for comorbidities and various other health impacts? Like, what the fuck? See, that's another thing. It's a doublespeak. They got the fucking thing right here. Age, diabetes, severely immunocompromised, obesity, hypertension, congestive heart failure, chronic kidney disease. only one of them has anything to do with a racial demographic. I'm sorry, but this is so fucking bullshit.
Conditions. It doesn't matter what kind of health they're in. All that matters is their skin color. Whites don't qualify.
The American media covers up literal terror attacks targeting white people because they don't fit the narrative.
Which one was that one? Suspect in SUV attack posted violent anti-white threats, Beal and Reddick. And he's citing himself. He's citing himself. And I think, which one was that one? That was that Christmas one? I don't remember. There was something more to that story, but honestly, I can't remember. And this is already going on so fucking long, I don't know. But if so, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that dude.
Targeting white people because they don't fit the narrative.
The way they're covering that story in the news.
It's all about the car.
The man, it's not the man who killed those people. It's an accident that was caused by an SUV. A fucking SUV caused an accident? What are you saying?
Collectively demonizes white Americans as violent, deadly predators, while gleefully salivating over their demographic decline, while kids across the country are indoctrinated into self-loathing because of the immutable characteristic of their skin color.
Here's where they're gonna get into critical race theory. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. It was the Waukesha, Wisconsin police chief. Says there's no indications that it was a terrorist attack. Daryl Brooks, that's what it was. Daryl Brooks. Yeah. We have information that the suspect, prior to the incident, was involved in a domestic disturbance, which is just minutes prior, and the suspect left that scene just prior to our arrival to the domestic disturbance. That's right, that's what it was. Yeah, the dude was like fucking around and being a piece of shit, and then he fucking drove off in a goddamn panic, and he ended up speeding through a bunch of people. I guess, like, because he once wrote something about, like, not liking white people a while ago or something. They're like, obviously it was motivated by race, you know? Then again, like, this is a Christmas parade that's at night, and everybody's bundled up, probably with big fucking stocking caps on, but I'm sure he managed to very specifically target only the white people. Yeah, fucking stupid ass shit. Just a bunch of bullshit.
Race theory. It's an approach to teaching of American history and civics that argues systemic racism is woven into American law and institutions.
Critical race theory is not being taught in K-12 schools.
None of those states are teaching critical race theory in their K-12 schools, man. But it doesn't exist.
Your sixth graders not being taught critical race theory.
Critical race
theory
is not taught in elementary schools or middle schools or high schools.
It's taught in law school. Critical race theory, which isn't real.
Just to be clear, it's not.
It is real, but it's not taught in fucking K-12.
In the curriculum.
All the CRT stuff is trumped up dog whistling.
We do not teach critical race theory here in Virginia. It has never been taught.
It not being taught in schools, that's 100% correct.
Hang on.
In schools, that's 100% correct.
Whiteness is a bad deal. It always was. Dude, we can see your pointy tail contact. What is that from? What is that from? What even is that fucking from? They ate white identities. Regime of whiteness. Their action oriented by Barner. I don't even know where that's from either. Characteristics of white supremacy culture. Perfection. Does any of this look like it's taught in fucking grade school or middle school or even high school? Black communist case study, Angela Davis. Yeah, that totally looks like it's being taught to... What the fuck, dude? What is systemic racism? That looks like it's an internet video. Idea of American key takeaway. This is from an online fucking I recognize this from Mythicist Milwaukee, fucking squawking their goddamn heads off about, and it's just a bunch of people, like a bunch of weird academics talking about this shit, and usually taken out of context. Culture response to teaching, yeah, no. Confronting whiteness in our classrooms. I mean, this is just, I don't know where the fuck this is all supposed to be coming from. Again, I don't understand how this is supposed to like convince anybody. It's the same thing that like James Lindsay did when he was on Dr. Phil. And like they're like, yeah, okay, so we want to have your perspective on it. And he goes, and then he just vomited a bunch of random shit that made no fucking sense. He's grasping at paper straws. Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, this is so fucking weird. This is so fucking weird.
While
okay, there have been examples that I have seen. I have seen actual legit examples of high schools where they were talking about power and inequality and talking about the historicity of how this has been impacted throughout different racial groups. Sure. What if it's the truth? But none of those were like, you need to feel bad for being white. I haven't seen that. And if somebody finds me one of that, I will very happily point at it and be like, I don't agree with that. And I think that's bad. And I think that teacher should be reviewed by the board. I'm okay with saying that, but it can't be that. No, it has to be a propaganda. It has to be this big conspiracy that they're all trying to like drive a wedge and make you feel bad for being white, blah, blah, blah. My fellow white people, don't feel bad for being white. There you go. Don't feel bad for being white. You didn't pick it. If you're an anti-vaxxer, feel bad about being an anti-vaxxer. But white, fuck, whatever.
The federal government treats white parents who complain about that as potential terrorists.
Education authorities in the United States are asking the government to use anti-terror laws and involve the FBI against parents who protest against the way their children are being taught.
Wait. First of all, this is from RT. Again, Paul, you are not doing yourself any more favors by constantly posting shit from Russia television, okay?
These acts of malice, violence, and threats against public school officials have increased. The classification of these heinous could be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism.
Okay, no. Hey, that one I'm very familiar with. There has been an intentional effort and social movement for people to disrupt, intimidate, harass, even attack members of school boards because they don't want them to teach critical race theory, and they aren't even teaching critical race theory. There's motivations and movements specifically to get people into positions in school boards so that they can stop the teaching of critical race theory, which they are not teaching critical race theory. On top of that, while this is all going on, there is an intentional and explicit social movement that is trying to create, and there are fucking dozens of these right now, laws in order to prevent the certain types of teaching. And one of them, I can't even remember which state it's in, like directly says that it should not, like they don't want anybody being taught anything that might make somebody feel bad for being the race that they are. Like they don't want them to make them feel uncomfortable. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be, but if I'm not mistaken, the wording on it actually was making somebody feeling bad for being white. Do you need a law for that? Or can you just say, hey, they did that, fire them? Why do you need the state involved in very intentionally and very specifically making these lines on how it should be taught? That is like some Ministry of Education kind of shit that makes me feel very uncomfortable. Society as a whole should be able to say, look, if that's something that somebody would like taught a kid and we can see it and we can prove it, then we fire them. That's how you handle it. Not with like school board shit. But in this one, like these people gathering together to disrupt, harass, and attack fucking school board members, domestic terrorism, I don't agree. But some people are starting to feel that way.
While employees at firms that collectively hire millions of people are being forced to participate in white guilt struggle sessions.
Even if that's true, which it's not, then just don't go work there.
While the US military-industrial complex is now directly targeting angry white Americans as the primary domestic extremist threat.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it.
And to top...
Well, yeah, the number one domestic terror group in our country is usually far-right, nationalistic, white groups. Yeah. Like, that's been proven with statistics for, I think, like, the past 4 years. Yeah. That's what it is. Far-right, white, identitarian fucking hate groups are the number one domestic terror threat in our country. Don't like it? Then by all means, join with and help us encourage these people to not do that. Okay.
To top it all off, the President of the United States thinks the demographic decline of white people is a good thing.
Not only our Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of.
I don't, like, he did not just say what Paul claimed he said.
Unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America, from then and on, will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing.
What?
Yeah, why would that be a bad thing? Why would that be a bad thing? The only way that you could think that that's a bad thing is if you think less of people who aren't white. There's a word for that. There's a word for that.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Because, you know, white people have just done such a damn good job overall. And that would be, and if I meant that, that would be me generalizing. Kind of like somebody, I don't know, generalizing about people who aren't white. Dude, it's so fucking weird. The changing demographic in the United States means nothing. It means nothing. Because when somebody comes to this country, or if they're already here at this country, if somebody's already in this country and they've been in this country, they are American. If somebody comes to this country, they adopt to the way of living and they integrate with us, then they are American. It's as simple as that. We don't have lesser status as Americans depending on our racial demographics. And if you think that that necessarily should be the case, or if you think they have less value, you are racist. I don't know how that's fucking hard. Absolutely fucking bizarre. Absolutely fucking bizarre. Yeah, so I don't even know how this motherfucker has managed to fly under the fucking radar saying shit like this on his goddamn YouTube channel. The browning of America was quite possibly one of the hottest take things I've heard from anybody that has over 1 million subscribers ever. And yeah, like I don't want to call him a Russian puppet because I don't fucking know. But there's a suspicious amount of Russian propaganda coming from this flapping gums dumb fuck. And then him signal boosting a great replacement, racist as fuck, conspiracy theory, whole cloth. I'm very comfortable in saying that I think Paul Joseph Watson is racist and a Russian tool. I'm sorry. There's no other way that I can really even think about it. It's so fucking weird. God, what a gross human being. Holy shit. What a fucking roller coaster ride.